I was a little late to the game in terms of economic education. I didn't even know economic education existed, really. I got my PhD, went to the University of Memphis, and maybe my second or third year there, I got chosen to participate in a Princeton Research Fellows program, and for 2 consecutive summers. And the point of the program was to encourage young, up-and-coming researchers to engage with economic education. And so economic education. And so that made me aware of the subfield, and it made me aware of the Council on Economic Education and the National Network. Some years after that, I was asked to be department chair at University of Memphis. And while I was the department chair, Memphis was and is a rather challenged city. And at the time, they were #1 in bankruptcy in the country. So I started thinking, what can this department, what can economics offer to this community? And landed on economic education. So I started a center there. It was just me, not even all of me, like a fourth of me. And I started a center then because I didn't have to ask anybody's permission. So I just thought this is an appropriate way for economics to give back to this community. And I started training teachers, and the elementary school teachers just ate it up.
She worked with groups of teachers in the school districts and developed curricula that were most appropriate at different ages. And so I think she truly put her knowledge into productive work that makes a difference for society, for families, for people growing up with children, but also the children themselves.
And off we went, and we launched Smart Tennessee, which was the first program of its kind to reach down to elementary into middle school for financial education. And it still exists.
She worked across the entire state to not only bring financial education and economic education to students, no matter what zip code they lived in, no matter what school district they were in. She did it from the point of view of the students who were learning the topic. The students saw themselves, they saw people like them, they saw their own experiences in the initiatives that she created, in the curricula that she created.
Yeah, I think that's the genius of Julie, is that she's able to take oftentimes really complex economic concepts and boil them down and deliver them in a way that even elementary students can understand. And I know there's a stigma out there about, you can't teach economics to young children or personal finance to young children. But Julie helps dispel that notion. Like her materials are easy to use for teachers, and I'm a former teacher myself, and to me, that's the most important part. If teachers look at these resources like SmartPath and say, oh, this is something that's going to be valuable in my classroom and I can use them, they're going to be successful. And I think incorporating puppets into financial education and economic education is genius. I don't know a kid in the world who doesn't like a puppet. And if you can get kids interested in the puppets and then deliver the economics and the personal financial literacy through the puppets, that is a win-win for everybody. It makes the teacher's job easier, and ultimately the students are better off because they're going to walk away from the experience knowing economics and knowing personal financial literacy.
Economists aren't really trained to be all that creative. I guess conducting research, there's a certain amount of creativity, and that's what I was trained to do, to be a researcher. So you have to be creative that much. And to be a really good classroom teacher, you need to be creative.
You have 2 choices in life as a parent. You can either choose the path for your child, or you can help your child choose their path. Julie helped me understand the importance of helping children learn their path into life. Overwhelmingly hard to do, and quite honestly, even with STEP and with many of our high school, elementary financial literacy programs, it's a mysterious metric. We don't really know what the impact of what we're doing is going to have on the life of a child until many years from now.
Julie emphasized that building the foundation of early decision making was important for all kids. She felt that, and she often said, you don't start teaching math in high school, you start at an early age, and she felt the same way about financial education. We have seen that early decision making changes students' lives.
I think when people think about economic and financial education in terms of what students get out of it, it can tend to be fairly limiting. They think in terms of vocabulary or knowing the supply and demand cross and what that means. But I think if people think about economic and financial education in a broader way, we're teaching students how to make good decisions. And that doesn't just apply to how they control their money or anything specific to economics. It can extend to every facet of their life. So it's empowering to students because they realize that there's power in their own thinking, applied to everything.
You know, in order for economic education, personal finance, financial education to be truly impactful, we have to innovate. We have to create relatable experiences, timely experiences, so that young people and older people alike can retain what they're learning. And Dr. Heath is focused on innovation in everything she's done from the beginning of her career all the way down to her most recent Emmy Award.
As far as economic educators go, I really think if I was in charge of the Mount Rushmore of economic educators, Julie Heath would be on my Mount Rushmore of economic educators. She's just done so much in her time, to help teachers, people like me, students. She's just a wonderful person. So she's an absolute legend in economic education, and I'm really going to miss her when she's retired.